Right, point 2. Information security risk assessment operation. Here's the thing. Most people going for ISO 27001 treat the risk assessment like a driving test. You cram, you perform, you pass, you never parallel park again as long as you live. Cute, because that is not what 8.2 says, not even close. So let me place it first. Clause 6.1.2 is where you design the thing. That is where you set your criteria, how you decide what counts as a risk, how you score impact and likelihood, what your acceptance threshold is. 6.1.2 is the recipe. 8.2 is the cooking. 8.2 is you actually doing it on an ongoing basis, forever. And the wording matters. The organization shall perform information security risk assessments at planned intervals or when significant changes are proposed or occur. Taking account of the criteria established in 6.1.2 and shall retain documented information of the results. That is it. That is the whole subclause. It is small. It is also the one that quietly separates a real management system from a very expensive PDF. Let me break the 3 bits apart because each one has a trap in it. Bit 1. Planned intervals. Planned. That is the word, doing the work. Not regularly, not periodically, not when we get round to it. Planned means you decided in advance, you wrote it down, and you can show it. Annually is fine if you can justify annually. Quarterly is fine. What is not fine is a spreadsheet with a last modified date from the week before your Stage 2 audit, Bit 2, or when significant changes are proposed or occur. Read that again. Proposed, not just occurred before, not only after. So picture a small SaaS company. 12 people, decent product, all in on the certificate. They migrate the whole platform to a new cloud region. New provider, new access model, new admin console, whole new blast radius. And nobody reassesses anything because the risk assessment was done in March and it is now October and it lives in a folder called Final ISMS Docs V4 Final Actual Final. We have all made that folder. I have made that folder, bless. Bit 3. Retain documented information of the results. Results, not the method. That is 6.1.2, the output. What you assessed, when, against what criteria, what came out. If you cannot show the results, you did not do it. That is the auditor's view, and honestly, it is the correct view. But watch, because here's where it gets contrarian. The point of 8.2 is not the auditor. The point is that your risk picture has a shelf life and it is shorter than you think. What actually changes in a year at a small software company? You add 3 integrations. You onboard a customer who is 10 times bigger than anyone else on the book and who now holds you to a completely different standard. You hire 6 people and 2 of them are contractors with admin access to things they probably should not have. You start using 2 new AI tools that nobody formally approved and everybody uses daily. Dave in Ops built a script. Dave's script has a hard-coded key in it. Dave is lovely. Dave is also right now your single largest unmanaged risk, and Dave does not know that because nobody has looked since March. Sound familiar? That is a completely different company from the one that was assessed. Same logo, same name on the certificate. Different attack surface entirely. So the fossil version of the risk assessment goes like this. Someone spends 2 weeks building a beautiful register, color-coded, genuinely lovely piece of work. It gets signed off, it gets certified, and then it sits there, perfectly preserved, describing a company that stopped existing about 11 months ago. Here is the distressingly honest tagline for that. Your risk register. A detailed and lovingly maintained portrait of a company that no longer exists. That is not compliance. That is taxidermy. Now the living version. And this is the bit that is genuinely less work, which nobody believes until they do it. You set your interval and you actually keep it. You put a risk assessment trigger into the things you already do. Change approval, vendor onboarding, architecture review, new starter with privileged access. Those are your significant changes. You do not need a new process. You need a hook in an existing one. You keep the review small and boring. 20 minutes with the register and the change log beats a 2-week heroic rebuild every 12 months, every single time. You write down what came out, date it, say what changed and what did not. When viewed, no material change is a valid result, as long as it is a real review and not a copy-paste with a fresh date on it. Auditors have seen that trick. Everyone has seen that trick. The difference between those two companies is not effort. It is when the effort lands. One does it in small pieces, continuously, and never panics. The other does it in one enormous adrenaline-soaked sprint before every audit and calls that a management system. Look, I'm not a certified lead auditor and I'm not pretending to be. I'm telling you what the clause actually says and what it obviously means when you read it like an adult. Perform at planned intervals. Perform when significant things change or are about to. Keep the results. 3 sentences. Everything else is you deciding whether you want a certificate or a control system. So here is your dare. Open your risk register right now. Look at the date on the most recent real assessment, not the file's modified date, the actual assessment. Then open your change log, or your release notes or your invoices for the same period. If your company changed and your register did not, you do not have a finding waiting for you at the next audit. You have one already. You just have not been told yet. Go and fix that this week.